Hi everyone, Mr. Z here, and today we are going to cook Three Sisters soup. So let's go over the ingredients, let's talk about the recipe, and then we'll get cooking. First ingredient that we need is one small onion diced up. The onion I used was a pretty big one, so I only used half, but you're looking at about a cup of chopped onion. Next, we're gonna need 2 cloves of garlic, chopped up nice and small. I like garlic, so I threw in an extra one. We have 3. Next ingredient we need is the corn. That's one of the ingredients of the Three Sisters. And for today, we're gonna be using something called hominy, and we'll explain a little bit more about what hominy is. You can find hominy at the grocery store. I got this at the Red Apple, and there's white and yellow hominy, and today we're gonna use white hominy. The second of our Three Sisters is the beans, and I have these lovely Rockwell beans from Prairie Bottom Farm that I use, and I soaked them overnight and pre-cooked them, so these are already cooked. But if you don't have access to those, you can just use canned beans. These are already ready to go. Just drain them and get rid of some of that extra liquid and salt, and you can use those as well. The third of our Three Sisters is our squash, and today we're using Hubbard squash from Pioneer Farm, from Sherman's Pioneer Farm. It's a nice, lovely, sweet squash. It'll cook pretty quickly. It's local, and I'm using about a cup of the squash here. We need a few more ingredients. So we need a little bit of butter. We're gonna saute the onions and garlic in butter. We need some seasoning for flavor. So I've got herbs here. I've got rosemary, thyme, and bay leaf. We are gonna use a little bit of curry powder in our recipe today. And if you like a little bit of heat and you can handle that, you can do some chili powder or chili flake. Got a few options here, some chipotle chili powder. We need salt and pepper. And then for our liquid, we're gonna use vegetable stock. If you don't have vegetable stock, you can use water, you can even use chicken stock. We're gonna keep ours vegetarian today. We're gonna use vegetable broth. And then a few other ingredients or equipment. We need our stovetop, and we need a soup pot with a nice heavy lid on it. And we're gonna use our ladle to cook everything and serve everything. It's gonna be our cooking tool today. So let's see how we cook this recipe. All right, our first step, we're gonna turn our stove on, and we're going to put it on medium heat. I've got my stock pot here, my soup pot, and to the soup pot I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of butter. If you don't want to use butter, you could use olive oil, you could use coconut oil. We're using butter today, and we're going to wait until the butter melts over medium heat.
Hey folks, it's Farmer Hannah here, and while we are watching our butter melt, I'm going to explain a couple of things about our soup today, like what is a Three Sisters soup and where does hominy come from? The story of Three Sisters soup is one of teamwork. Sister corn, sister bean, and sister squash all grow together in a way that benefits the other. The story of Three Sisters soup that I will be telling today originates from the Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois people of North America. Long ago, Sky Woman left the land of the Great Spirit to land on Turtle Island, or what is known as North America. Out of gratitude for the new place that she had found, Sky Woman shared some of the gifts she had brought from Great Spirit's land. These were corn, beans, and squash. The plants were thought to be watched over by the 3 sister spirits called the Du'ohako, or Our Sustainers. These 3 sister spirits protect and inhabit the croplands. Sister Corn stands tall to guard and protect the crops. Sister Bean feeds the roots of Sister Corn. Sister Squash, the oldest of the 3 sisters, stays close to the earth and encircles the sisters in a protective fashion and uses her large leaves to protect and shade the soil. Here's an example of all of our soup ingredients growing together, and you can see that those beans are using the corn like a giant beanstalk. Hominy is what happens when you cook corn or maize in an alkali solution. By doing this, you can store the corn for a really long time. Also, you can grind it up into flour and make things like tortillas. Indigenous people have been making hominy for centuries. In fact, the earliest known use was by the Mayan people in as early as 1500 BCE. That's a really long time.
Okay, now the butter is nicely melted. I'm going to add our onions. And I'm gonna add our garlic. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. The salt helps to get the moisture out of the vegetables, helps them to sweat it out. And we're gonna cook the onions and the garlic for about 3 to 5 minutes until they're nice and soft. We don't want them to burn, so if they look like they're getting too dark, then move on to the next step. All right, our onions and our garlic are nice and soft, so now we're gonna add our spices and cook them for about 1 minute. So first we need 1 teaspoon of curry powder. I like spice, just a little bit of heat, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of chili powder. That was a little more than a little bit, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna add my herbs. I'm gonna add my thyme, my rosemary, and my bay leaf, and I'm gonna cook these for about 1 minute. It's already smelling good. I'm gonna add a little black pepper too. And the reason you cook your spices first is when you cook spices in fat, in this case in butter, it helps to bring out the flavor and the essential oils and the spices a little bit more. So this step will make your food just a little more flavorful if you cook your spices first instead of adding your spices at the end. All right, so this is good. We're gonna add the rest of our ingredients. So first, I'm gonna add our hominy. This is our corn. Next, I'm gonna add our Rockwell beans. These are the beans. And finally, we're gonna add our squash. This is that sweet Hubbard squash. We're gonna add that, give that a quick stir. And we need to add our 4 cups of vegetable stock. I like these because these are 4 cups. Now I'm gonna turn the heat up all the way to high and bring this to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, I'll turn it down so that the soup simmers, and then we'll simmer the soup for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the squash is fully cooked, because the hominy's already cooked and I already pre-cooked the beans. So really all we need to do is make sure we cook the squash.
The squash in this soup is January's harvest of the month.
All right, let's see how our soup is doing. And that looks good and it smells good. Let's check the squash. Okay, that squash is cooked. And we know our beans are already cooked and our corn is already cooked. So our soup is ready to eat. So actually, I'm gonna turn off the heat, but real quick, I'm gonna taste it. I'm gonna use a clean spoon. I'm gonna taste it for salt to make sure we have enough salt in the soup. Maybe just a little bit more. And I think our soup is ready. All right, so let's serve it up. Farmer Grace, you want some soup?
Yes, please.
If you made this soup and gave it a try, please remember to give us a thermometer report in the comments below. Remember, thumbs up means, I liked this a lot. Thumbs to the side means, it was okay. And thumbs down means, no thank you, it wasn't for me.
Okay, so we have our Three Sisters soup. We're gonna give this a taste. I'm gonna get a little bit of corn, squash, and some of this hominy on my spoon here. It's really hot. That's good. You can taste the garlic and the spices. Very warming. It's good because it's cold outside today, so this is a perfect soup for a day like today. Nice healthy soup with all the vegetables in it that we like, that we grow. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. I hope you guys try this at home. I think it's something you're really gonna like. And stick around. We have more cooking videos coming your way. Thanks.
We really hope that you enjoyed this video about how to make Three Sisters soup. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below or email them to coopvillefarmtoschool@gmail.com. Thank you.